Title: At dinner with her friend, my wife said, "I wish my husband had half the stamina of my ex. He actually knew how to use his Johnson." Then she giggled and added, "Honestly, he couldn't even satisfy a blow-up doll." Her face froze in shock when she realized I was standing behind her. She scrambled for excuses. "Oh, honey, it was just a joke." The whole room fell silent when I replied with this: "Start." I heard her laugh before I heard the words. That high-pitched, careless giggle that used to draw me to her like a flame. Only this time, it carried poison. "I wish my husband had half the stamina of my ex. He actually knew how to use his Johnson." The table erupted in cruel laughter. Then she twisted the knife deeper. "Honestly, he couldn't even satisfy a blow-up doll." That's when her eyes froze, because I was standing right behind her. Every face turned toward me. The wine glasses on the table seemed to rattle in the silence. She scrambled. "Oh, honey, it was just a joke." I smiled. A smile that meant nothing good. And I replied, calm, precise, unshaken, "Don't worry, darling. Soon enough, you won't have to fake your laughter or your orgasms." The air cracked. She knew. She just didn't know how much I knew. I met her 10 years ago, a whirlwind romance. She was dazzling, loud, the center of every room. I was steady, grounded, the kind of man who built rather than boasted. Together, we seemed balanced, or so I thought. I worked nights, early mornings, whatever it took to build the life we dreamed of. She played the part of the devoted wife in public. In private, her affection had cooled long ago. I convinced myself it was stress, routine, the slow burn of marriage. But love doesn't just fade. It rots when someone feeds it lies. The first crack came 6 months earlier. Her phone buzzed at 2 a.m. She claimed it was spam. She rolled over too quickly, too defensive. I let it go, but something lodged itself in my gut. I started noticing details: perfume that wasn't hers on her clothes, excuses that didn't align, a laugh that sounded practiced when she spoke about girls' nights. Then came the undeniable: an email left open. Her friend, yes, the same one sitting at that dinner table, sending her explicit jokes about me being the safe option while her ex was the real man. She responded with hearts and confessions. She called me boring, predictable, useless in bed. I stared at those words until my vision blurred. But instead of rage, something colder settled in: clarity. I didn't confront her, not yet. You only get one shot at betrayal that deep. And when I struck, I wanted it to count. I began collecting every message, every photo, every damning slip of her tongue. I mirrored her phone, quietly. She thought she was clever. She wasn't. Meanwhile, I saw a lawyer, mapped out the divorce, shifted accounts, quietly sold assets in my name, stacked cash where she couldn't reach. I even changed my will, just in case she thought desperation might be solved with an accident. Her friend, the one who laughed loudest that night, was her co-conspirator. The two of them compared notes about me like I was a broken appliance. I recorded every word, and through it all, I stayed silent, loving, attentive, playing the role of the oblivious husband. It was the hardest acting job of my life, but oh, the performance was worth it. That dinner was no accident. I chose it. I arranged the reservation, invited her closest circle, including the friend who fed her poison, and I waited. I knew her ego too well. She wouldn't resist performing if given an audience. She couldn't help herself. When the words left her mouth, the timing was perfect, my signal. Because as she laughed at me, the projector screen behind our table flickered on. Footage, screenshots, recordings, every secret, every insult, every explicit exchange between her and her friend spilled into the room. Her face drained of color. Her friend choked on her wine. The room went still. Then my lawyer, seated 2 tables away, slid a thick envelope across to her. Divorce papers, pre-filed, ironclad. Every asset in my name, every detail prepared.
Her voice cracked. "You can't." I cut her off, calm as ever. "You already did." The fallout was beautiful in its silence. Her friends, the ones she entertained with my humiliation, turned on her instantly. Whispers spread like wildfire, her reputation shattered. The friend who encouraged her betrayal? Her husband received a copy of the recordings before dessert was served. He left without a word. As for her, she begged, screamed, promised, threatened, but there was nothing left for her to take. She walked into that dinner as the queen of the joke. She walked out stripped of her crown, her marriage, and her mask. I didn't raise my voice once. I didn't throw a glass or slam a fist. I didn't need to. Justice isn't loud, it's precise. And revenge, when done right, doesn't just burn, it freezes, leaving the betrayer stranded in the cold they created. That night, as I signed the final page and slid it back to my lawyer, I looked at her one last time. Her makeup streaked, her hands trembling, her pride shattered beyond repair. I leaned in, close enough for only her to hear. "You should have been careful what you laughed at, because the punchline was always you." I walked away, and for the first time in years, I felt whole.